So yeah, back to, the idea of just asking people how they're doing, right? And what's going on, just showing interest in your life. I mean, if you have somebody who is interested in who you are and really shows that they give a damn about you, you also know when they come and talk to you about something that went wrong, it's because they have your best intentions in mind. Hey, I need to talk to you about this so we can improve this. I value you and care about you. So how can we, make this work? Right? As opposed to you keep doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this wrong, and you don't ever get the feeling that you're doing anything right. People can get into a rut. They can feel like they're failing, right? And it
Yeah.
doesn't get any better, right? Low deck, right? They fired somebody in the last episode, and it's probably the way that they've edited it, but she's just been on a slow decline from episode one and not being able to do the deckhand stuff like she's supposed to. And, it just became apparent based off of the way that they edited it, she had to go. And so, but and she's had experience. She's had experience on yachts. She's done these things before. I mean, even Captain Glenn said, I your CV shows that you have this experience. I just don't, I just haven't seen it. And but everyone keeps talking about it. She just keeps failing and failing. She says, I'm failing and I feel like I don't know how to get out of my own head with this failure cycle. And so everything, she's like, oh, I know how to do this. Why am I not doing this? Right. And people can get into that mode where everything that I'm doing is wrong or I'm being super scrutinized about it, especially if you don't necessarily feel like, you're being supported in your growth, right? And
Right.
so I think it's a gratitude is to be able to have somebody who allows you to make mistakes. I think you should be super grateful if you have that in your life. If you have somebody who allows you to take your mistakes and learn from them and grow from them, um,
Yeah.
I, I think it's powerful.
Yeah. You know, the other part of this, this whole idea that, oh, people don't want to work anymore. Nobody wants to work anymore. Well, no, people don't want to work where they don't feel like they're making any kind of difference. Like if just people in general, I mean, I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself. But if I'm putting in all of this effort and, I've always been a person who I want to do a good job. Again, this is the pressure I put on myself. I don't want to do anything mediocre. So if I'm going to put effort into something, I want to do it right. I want to be the best at it. I'm competitive, not competitive like you have to lose and I have to win, but more like I want to be good at whatever I'm doing. And so if if I'm putting in all of that effort and it's not and I don't feel like it's good or it's good enough, eventually if it's not bringing me joy, then I'm probably not going to do it anymore, right? Because I'm like, what's the point? What's the point of it all? Now, remember, I'm not a people pleaser. So I don't necessarily need you're wonderful, you're great, you're fantastic. But what I do need is that your effort is meaningful and it's necessary and it's appreciated. Like I'm not going to waste my time doing something that doesn't have a purpose, right? It's like for example, I hate running on well, I don't run at all, but like treadmills, I despise treadmills. Why? Because I'm just walking to nowhere. Like to me, it has absolutely no purpose. Yes, I know physical fitness. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care about all of that. To me, being on a treadmill is like being on a hamster wheel. You're moving, 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 and you're going absolutely nowhere. So I prefer if I'm going to walk, I'm walking outside. I'm walking in the neighborhood. I'm walking around the block a few times because I'm actually moving and I'm going something and I'm seeing things. And so that's kind of how I feel about work is that if the effort that I'm putting in is not leading to some bigger purpose, then it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time for me. It's a waste of time for the people around me if there's no value to it. So again, I don't need like, oh my God, this is the best thing that's ever happened. I don't need that kind of feedback. But what I do need to know is that it matters. Like it's making a difference. It's having impact. It's leading to something that we're looking towards. And so again, I don't need at the end of every training for people to lift me up on their shoulders and have a parade and lead me through the building. I mean, that'd be cool every once in a while, you know. But what I am saying is that if my boss or the people who are again experience the benefits of my work are ho hum about it, like it's not that important, then for me it's also not going to be important, and I'm going to check out of it. And it's not an ego. It's not an ego thing. I don't need the ego boost. What I need is to know that the efforts that I'm putting in are making a difference. If not, then I need to move in a different direction. And so this is part of like my I personality from the disc. This is part of like one of our needs, one of our core needs is acknowledgement. And again, it's not the empty, hollow appreciation. Like I genuinely want to know that the work that I do is making a difference. And so it's the acknowledgement that I know you put in a lot of effort and we like what the end result is. Or you know what? This one thing that you said really impacted me in a positive way. It made me think. That's the kind of appreciation I'm looking for. Again, it doesn't have to be a parade, it doesn't have to be a marching band. Again, these are great ideas if you wanted to put them into place. But I don't really need all of that. It wouldn't turn me off, but it wouldn't be something I need. But this is one of the reasons, again, I give appreciation the way that I like appreciation. I try to share with people the impact that they make on me. And like one of like my habits, I guess, or something I am pretty intentional about is that when I'm thinking something good about somebody, I share it with them, like even complete strangers. And I know it's weird. Like, I don't know if I've shared this with you. I walked up to some random lady and told her I loved her cheekbones. And I'm sure she filed a restraining order after that. But it was just like I was admiring her cheekbones. And I thought, you know what? I'm thinking this really positive thought about this person. I wonder if they want to hear it. You know, I try to share things with people that are positive. If I'm thinking it, why keep that to myself? And so because gratitude is part of again my spirit of abundance, again, I don't take anything for granted because I've been on the dark side and I know what it's like to go without. So anything that is positive for me is like this isn't expected. This is something to be grateful for. Then I really try to express that gratitude in both my personal and professional lives. And so, you know, one of the ways that like even for classes, if I teach a class, I always thank people for their time. I always thank people for being present, for their contributions. And that's it's genuine because, you know, I've been in classes where nobody's interested. I've been in classes where nobody participates. Been in classes where people are just checked out and that's their business. I'm not mad about it. Like that's part of it. But I always want to appreciate what the other people give to me that keeps me motivated. And so even like as an instructor, when people do small things like, I don't know, answer the questions that I'm asking or engage, like I'm always grateful for that because it's not a given. It's not a given. And I want them to know that I really genuinely appreciate it. So I share that. I share it. I'm not going to give anybody a participation trophy. Sorry. I'm not doing it. If I don't have anything nice to say, I'm not going to say anything at all. But if I have something nice to say, I'm going to tell I'm going to make sure that you know about
Yeah.
it, right? So like my sweet baby Eric, love him so much, but he is one that needs a lot of positive reinforcement. Like he's one that needs like constant appreciation. And so when you're not praising him about what he's doing, he feels that it gets really into his head. And there was a point, you know, when he lived with us, and I don't know, Carl, if you've ever been on the receiving end of my tough love. I don't think you have. Maybe you have. I don't know, but but you know, there was a time where he shared some feelings with me, like, "Mom, like you don't appreciate anything that I'm doing," and I'm like, "What are you doing that I should be appreciating?" You know, I'll give you appreciation when you earn it, but you're what dazzle me. razzle dazzle me with what should I be appreciating right now? And he really didn't have anything. So like you're breathing, congratulations. You're supposed, like I want to appreciate you when you do right, and I will appreciate you when you do right. But if you're not doing right, then you're not getting the participation trophy. So sorry. Sorry, Eric. You know how it is. He's in therapy. He'll be fine. But you know, in the workplace, I think that we put so much pressure on the expectation that people should just meet expectations or should just do the bare minimum that even when they are, we don't notice it and we don't share it. And that's why we say when people don't want to go above and beyond anymore, well, why should they? You know, what do I get for it? Sorry to say, but like work is transactional. You're paying me to do a job. You say, here, I'm going to give you this amount of money to do these things. And if I'm doing those things and you're giving me the money you promised, cool. Like we were in a perfectly fair transaction. But when now the employer is expecting so much more for the same amount, and you can't even say thank you, or the way that they show gratitude, like let's have a potluck. Let's get together and have a potluck. So now I have to go cook to show appreciate to be appreciated. I have to go cook for other people, and you can't eat from everybody's house, and so now I got to cook and just eat what I brought because I don't know that one person always has cat hair on their sweater, and I'm not going to have cat hair in my mac and cheese, so I'm not eating that crap. And like, really, did so and so just bring a half open bag of Doritos? Like, I don't want that crap. That's not. I don't feel appreciation now. I feel rage. Now I'm even more pissed off because I was up all night cooking this food, and you brought this nonsense in. No, you know, I love like I'm on corporate TikTok. I'm always getting like different like there's some content creators on there that are just fabulous. And this one was sharing about like the company like we made $10 billion this year, and as a thank you, we got you some customized sugar cookies. And she's like, are those the cookies I brought from Publix yesterday? You just wrote 10 million on the back of them, or 10 billion with a permanent marker, you know? So I don't know. I think at a really big scale, appreciation, I think, can be too forced. I think where the real like magic happens is that appreciation that you get from the person you report to, like the genuine, I see what you're doing and I appreciate the work that you're doing. I think is far more meaningful from like, we appreciate you. Come get a slice of Costco pizza and a Shasta Dr. Thunder, you know, from the break room. I don't think that works, but I think for leaders, like honestly, just care about people. Like just care about people like in a real way. That's it. I mean, I don't have any magic answers except for like everybody who works for you is a person, a human being that has a whole life outside of work. They have a whole life inside of work. Just appreciate people for their individualism, appreciate them for what they contribute, like care about them enough to tell them the truth when they're not doing right, like honor the work that they do well. Everybody's an expert in something, like appreciate that. Um, be grateful when they come and tell you they made a mistake and need help fixing it. Like be grateful that people get along with each other because that's not a give. I mean, just be a good damn person. I don't know how else to say it. Like at the end of the day, you know, corporations and businesses are going to open and close, and you're going to make money and you're going to lose money and you're going to make a difference and you're not going to make a difference. But at the end of the freaking day, we're all people. And if we don't start caring about each other, like it's just look where we're at. I mean, I'm just saying, look where we're at as a country, like Thanksgiving. There's going to be a lot of empty seats at tables this year because people just don't care about people anymore. And that's really starting to show in the way that, again, we work. It's the way that we handle our relationships with our loved ones and our not so loved ones, with our neighbors. I mean, it's at a boiling point. I don't know how else to say it. I got real dark all of a sudden. It got real dark here for me.
But I mean, this is something that's been boiling for, God, I don't know how long, right? I mean, there's that famous motivation study that was done in 2000, right? That looked at what motivates employees, right? So the top three things that motivate employees: appreciation of their work being done, to feel like they're in on things so that they are involved in having conversations with folks, and sympathetic help from their boss. I believe it's more empathetic help, but I think that's what the wording
Hmm.
was back then, because they didn't have the brain science, right? But so that stuff was seen as the top three motivators. Job security and good wages were four and five, right? And chance for advancement was like number six or seven. Well, they asked managers, what do you think are the motivating factors for employees? What do you think the top three were?
Money,
Good wages, right?
benefits.
Well, wages and benefits, same thing, right?
Hmm.
Job security and a chance for advancement. They should be glad they have a job. They should be glad that we pay them a decent wage and that we might promote them if they stay for 3 months or more. Right. I always call it the Jack in the
Hmm.
Box mentality. What happens if you pass probation? You get a key to open up the building because everyone else has quit. Right. So if that's how you treat your staff, if that's how you think what they're grateful for and what people are grateful for, because they did the top 10, right? And so they asked managers to rank the top 10: appreciation, um, uh, filling in on issues, and sympathetic help were number 8, 9, and 10 for managers. So managers don't
Wow.
didn't believe that that was something that was important. This is something that is an epidemic. This is something that I've noticed since I've been talking with people. One of the things, that is an issue is that we believe that, baby boomers, hey, work your 30 years and graduate, I mean, retire from the same place and figure it out, right? And so that's been passed
Hmm.
down. That's been, hard work. Keep your head down, keep your mouth shut. What are all these? Oh my, the thing I hear about most about this young generation is that they need so much, positive, space, and so much, safe space. You know what? We all do. And I wish I'd have had it 30 years ago. I wish I'd have
Hmm.
had my supervisor tell me, I really do appreciate you, rather than when you see it on your paycheck, right? But that's the same thing that we see. I mean, if you ever watch Mad Men, it's the same thing, right? That's what the money is for, right? I mean,
Right.
it's been happening for how long, right? And that idea of hard work, we talk about generations, right? And you know, baby boomers came from this, the silent generation, right? Their parents were the silent generation, and more than half of us, more than half Americans lived in rural areas before World War II,
Right.
right? So what do you do in rural areas? You work on a farm, you work in a manufacturing for the farm, you work in a processing plant on the farm, right? So a lot of it is manual labor. And nowadays, millennials and Gen Z, most of them are doing white collar jobs, right?
Yep.
Which is just as taxing. Shit. I come home dog tired from speaking with people. I'm an introvert, right? I don't necessarily, I give my energy to other people. I am tired mentally from working with folks in that situation, you know. But we have been taught that being tired, bone tired, is what tired is mentally. Oh, you get to talk to people all day. That's the same stuff I heard when I was working in the workshop unit in the county. Well, yeah, I mean, we have the same classification, but you get to talk to people all day. Do you know what it's like to teach a class? Anybody? Right? We're 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. You're on stage, and
Yeah.
you are putting out your effort to other people, especially in a place where you are helping people who are helping other people, right? And who are in existential need, and you are trying to provide them that support and positive role model, right? So, but it's a different type of tired. And
Yeah.
so folks have devalued that. And I think that's a huge piece. We've gone from a blue collar society to a white collar society, and people think about, well, what am I doing? And these people, they're sitting there, they're not doing anything, and these kids, they're not doing anything, and my daughter needs validation as well, right? But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, she's going to graduate college this year, and she's working two jobs, right?
Mhm.
Um, you know, I don't have, I feel like, and she's asked me, do I feel appreciated? I mean, do I, are you proud of me? Hell yeah, I'm proud of you. Gosh, I mean, you're amazing. You're killing it, right? And then I know some people say, well, it took her 5, 6 years to graduate college. Who gives a shit? I
So what?
graduated. It took me 8 years to get my bachelor's degree. Don't get it twisted. right? And so it's something where, recognizing people for where they are. I grade her paper. I mean, I don't grade her. I edit her papers, and I see the growth. She's learning disability, and she's writing college level, papers with critical thinking that just I need to fix the grammatical issues that she has because she has like
Mhm.
dyslexia, right? So I'm seeing her efforts on a regular basis, and I let her know how special she is and how wonderful she is. And, and I mean, if that's not what she's getting from other people, she's getting it from her dad. I could give a shit because I know what it's like to have esteem and to not have esteem. And
Yeah,
if you have esteem, you are more likely to accomplish things. When you have self-efficacy, when you feel like you can accomplish things, guess what? Shit gets done.
that's
And if
right.
it and if you don't, that's going to be a hard road. And
Yeah,
then people, well, you never supported me. Well, you know what? You're probably right, and I'm probably contributing to the problem. But at the same time, how do we get you out of that? Right. And that's a hard thing.
right.
One of the things about gratitude that I wanted to bring up, and I'm like you, I thank people from coming back on time from break in class. Thank you for
Mhm.
being back on time. It really helps me get you out of here on time. Right. Thank you for participating in your breakout sessions. They sounded really interesting. And now that I can see people talking in breakout rooms like on
Mhm.
Zoom, I know that they're all participating and they all have their cameras off when they go cameras on in the breakout rooms and they all come
Yeah.
back. What happens? They turn them back off, right?
Mhm.
So I say thank you for having the conversation. I know not everyone's built for the larger groups, and this really does make a difference because I'm not here just to talk. I mean, if I'm
Right,
just talking and you'll walk out of here with nothing, then I didn't make a difference, right? So
right.
but this is something I've seen where people give, like you said, talk about somebody with nice cheekbones. What did that lady say to you? Did she say thank you? How
She
often
did.
do well, cool.
Yeah.
How often does that happen when people give you compliments? Thank you for getting us home safe. Oh, it's just what I was supposed to do. Right. Thank you for that dress looks amazing. Oh, really? Well, it's a couple years old and I just took it out of mothballs and or I really like you look really great today. Oh, really? Because my I was out in the sun all weekend and I think my foundation doesn't match my skin color. What happened to thank you? I appreciate that. It took me a
Right.
long time to learn to say thank you so much. I really appreciate that. When I get compliments, when I have people come up to me in class say thank you, I really learned a lot. I say, that's awesome. I really do appreciate you telling me that because it's really important to me. What's if we don't say thank you to compliments or expressions of appreciation, it invalidates that person's expressions of appreciation. So them saying, I really appreciate you, and you saying, oh, well, it's nothing. You're throwing that back in their face saying, your opinion does not matter, right? Your expression of thanks does not matter. Right. And so it's one of those things where I've had to learn to say, and look people in the eye, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And it's not performative. It is something that I've taught myself. Why? Because when I do it, the other person feels like their opinion matters. So when somebody says, oh, I really like that song, or you guys, I had somebody come up to me and say, I'm a drummer and you play the tambourine and you're the first singer I've ever, encountered that I don't mind you playing the tambourine. I said, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot to me. And it does because, some people would say, oh, there goes Carl with that damn tambourine. Right. And his opinion of that really, it validates that I'm doing the right things. Right. And so if and me reciprocating that to him rather than oh well I just play it for any reason and not saying thank you, well he's going to leave and say well that was awkward, that was weird, right?
Mhm.
And does my opinion matter? Right, that's an important piece. If we are to have gratitudes, we also need to be able to receive those gratitudes from other people. And if we can't receive them from other people, it is very hard for us to receive them from our own self. I
Right.
deserve this. Do I really? I'm just doing my job. Oh, I'm tired, man. It was 2 hours. I was stuck in traffic. Now I got to go teach this class, as opposed to I got here on time. I'm going to teach this class. and this group of people, hopefully they're gonna get something out of it, right? But if we don't have that feeling that we are making a difference and that our efforts are doing something that's providing a benefit, then where's the energy? Where's the intensity, right? Where's the feeling of being supportive of other people? People go through the motions, and that's why 70% of folks are seen as disengaged, right? So I'm not getting any appreciation. I had a conversation, I don't know, 15 years ago in Alameda County, right? We were talking about accepting gratitudes and saying thank you. And somebody said, we don't have that around here because, I walked up to somebody and said, I liked your dress. And she reported me to HR. So we don't say anything like that anymore. So one person created a culture of not giving compliments, not giving appreciation, not giving gratitude. How often does that happen in you know, in organizations? And then what happens if somebody is confident? Oh, she thinks she's all that. She thinks she's Miss Hot Stuff. Well, guess what? She is. And so could you be. You probably
Yeah.
are, right? You probably shine in a lot of cool things. And how many people have actually told you that you shine? Or do they just let you do your stuff and just figure, well, that's what she does. She gets paid for it.
Hmm.
Oh, no wonder people are disgruntled. No wonder people, are haters. And no wonder, the things that you see on social media are, 70% negative. I probably more than that, right? And I mean, that's we live in a society that values drama more than positivity, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why you see House of Villains, right? And,
Okay.
the challenge where people are hating on each other. And, I love that shit as much as anybody else. I do, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if
We
I
shouldn't
was to
live our
walk up,
life like that.
if I was to walk up to one of them, I was thinking about, I've met some people and I've always been stuck in how would I, what do I say to them? Because I'm an introvert. I get stuck. I go, "Oh, that," right? And so I think about if I was to meet Steph Curry, what would I say to him? Hey, Steph, God, man, I love watching your game, man. You're an amazing player, and I appreciate everything you do in your community. Thank you so much for who you are. Right? I don't have to take a picture. I don't have to get an autograph. What if I just say that, right? Just to let them know that you're seen. You are seen. People want to be seen, right? That's the thing. I validate my efforts. We talk about recognition and appreciation. Oh, I don't need all that. Do you need to be seen as a valuable member of your team? And if you say no, you are lying, right? I
Yeah.
want to be valuable because even if I'm just getting a paycheck,
Yeah.
I want to know that I have value in getting that paycheck. True story. And long story short, hopefully, I was teaching a class to supervisors at a state hospital. And we were talking about engagement and disengagement. And I said, 30% of your folks are engaged, they're putting that extra effort in. 18% are actively disengaged. So that leaves about 50% of folks who can go either way. And somebody raised their hand and said, well, what if of those 50%, if we can't get them to think about the 30%, then we should just maybe get rid of them because they're incompetent. And I said, well, that 50%, how many of them maybe could be part of that 30%, but maybe either are not quite sure, how or if I put in that extra effort, will it be recognized? Right. And so if you put that effort in to let them know when they are doing things in a positive way, how many of that 50% will lean towards the 30%?
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. I said, even if it's another 20% of folks, that's 50% of your team that's engaged. So half of your team is engaged. Would that be better than 3 in 10?
Hmm.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I said, okay, cool. Right. So, you got two more staff that'll show up every day and not call in sick and not take mental health days all the time. Right. And work when they're there. Right. How much more valuable are you to them if they show you that? What is that telling you? Right. And so it's not about the potlucks. You're right. It's not about the appreciation cookies. Right. It's not. It's about I see you and I value you and I'm glad that you're here, right? And if we can't connect with our staff in that way, if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got.
Exactly.
Right.
So
So
let's change what we do. Yes,
yeah,
let's find a solution here. So here are a couple things I want to say about gratitude because I think it's important to notice. It's not just an act. There's actually scientific evidence that gratitude improves your well-being as a human being. So when you are a person who um, practices gratitude, and again, the practice of gratitude is acknowledging the things that are going well, acknowledging where you are grateful, acknowledging the positive aspects of life. It actually has an impact on your brain, your body, your mental health, your well being. It affects things like inflammation in your body, your sleep patterns, the way that your brain works. People who are more grateful tend to be better problem solvers because the part of your brain that activates when you're grateful is the same part of your brain that's responsible for critical thinking and problem solving. And so it's free. Being grateful doesn't cost you any money. It's free and it's one of the very few things that you can do that has positive vibrations throughout your mind, throughout your body, throughout your life. So lots of scientific evidence to show that being grateful um, has benefits. There's no negativity. There's no negative. They're like the side effect of gratitude is uh, oily stools. No, do you remember that? That was like a long time ago.
if
There
you
was
if
some
you have
medication.
if you are practicing gratitude for more than 4 hours, please consult a doctor. Yes.
Exactly. So
Sorry, I got a little blue before Thanksgiving. Sorry, but yeah.
there's no negative side effects. As a matter of fact, dopamine and serotonin, which dopamine is a reward chemical. Dopamine makes you feel really good, and serotonin is a mood stabilizer, which keeps you even keeled. So if you're used to like the high highs and low lows, again, a boost of serotonin will do you good. So there's lots of benefits of gratitude.
And
The other
oxytocin
thing,
too. Yeah,
and
yeah,
oxytocin, which you makes you
yeah.
want to reach out and touch somebody, which
Right.
frowned upon in the workplace, just for the record.
It's just that connection. It's
Don't
that
do it at
connection,
work.
right? The
Yeah, keep your
mental,
hands
the
to yourself. But
mental, yeah.
yeah, yes, figuratively, not literally. But with all of that being said, there are so many positive aspects of gratitude. But the beautiful thing about it is that we can retrain our brains to be more in that spirit of abundance than in that space of scarcity, where, um, again, I'm thinking about like, oh, that person put their blinker on. I'm grateful for that. Like, no, they're supposed to put their blinker on. So when we think about how do we practice gratitude, there's lots and lots of different ways that you can make this part of like your daily practice in order to increase like gratitude in your life and to feel appreciated. I can't control other people and what they do, but I can control how I engage with the world. So an easy, very easy way to practice gratitude, first and foremost, is to just be grateful. And there's like three a day, like having three things every day that you're grateful for, whether you do it in a journal. Some people do a gratitude journal where they think about their day, what happened today that I'm grateful for. They can write it down. If that's not your jam, talk about it at dinner time with your family or think about it before you go to sleep at night. That's when I practice gratitude, by the way. It's when I'm laying down to close my eyes to go to sleep. I do a quick scan and say, what are the three things I'm grateful for today? It cannot be the same things every day. You can't go, I'm grateful for my health and my family. You can't be a cheater pumpkin eater with this, but like real things from the day that you can be grateful for. This morning, I was really grateful that my short ribs defrosted last night because I had forgotten to take them out of the freezer. So when I checked them this morning and they were not frozen, I was really grateful for that. And I still have a whole day of things to be grateful for. So, three things per day. Do it by yourself. You can do it with your family. There was a time where when my kids and I would sit down, I learned about gratitude a long time ago. And so we would sit at dinner and I'd say something about someone at the table that you can appreciate or be grateful for. And what was really kind of funny is in the beginning, my kids would say like really gross boy stuff. So they'd be like, I love how Oscar picks his nose and Eric has best farts in the whole wide world. Like it was always nasty, weird boy stuff. But then it started to get like really deep and profound. And they'd be like, I appreciate that, my brother has my back at school when people are making fun of me, like I appreciate that, we can wrestle with each other and not be mad at the end of it. So I mean it changes, right? So something you can do with your family. Another way that you can be grateful is just telling people what you appreciate about them in a very genuine way. So, writing someone a random thank you note for something that they've done or how they are in your life or how they've shown up in your life. Um, like this one, I really kind of struggled with because I don't want to be a weirdo, right? Like I don't want to be a weirdo, but I will say this. There was another UC Davis instructor that I met. She was an instructor of mine when I was like in my early 20s. And when I saw her for the first time, I literally was like, oh my gosh, that's who I want to be when I grow up. Lorraine Fox. I don't know if you ever got to meet Lorraine Fox, but I became a real fan. She wrote a few articles that were published, and I read a few of her articles. And one of them I have on like standby. I shared it with so many people that my original copy, the paper's like yellow, and the corner where it gets stapled is like been unstapled and restapled so many times. It's like non-existent. It looks like a mouse ate it. But she doesn't know I'm alive, like she made a huge change in like the trajectory of my life, but she probably doesn't remember I even existed as a human being because I only met her. I was in one of her classes like a couple of times. So with that being said, I was obsessed with this lady for like 20 years. And finally one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to send her a quick email because I had her email off her, she had a web page. And so I'm like, I'm going to shoot her a quick email and just tell her the impact that she had on me. And of course, she didn't remember me. And she was like in her late 80s. And she just was like, oh my God, thank you so much. This was during the pandemic. I found out she's a neighbor. She just lives down the road, not down the road, like literally, but like 45 minutes from me. And we had made plans to maybe after the pandemic to meet up. And I never followed up with her. But she said that she really appreciated that I had that impact. And she's really grateful to hear that after all of her years of service that, she made an impact on somebody's life. And so it felt really awkward for me to reach out to a stranger to say, hey, by the way, you changed my life. But I'm sure it gave her a boost. And I hope it did because it was genuine. I really, really did meant it. So, saying thanks to people, write them a quick note, send them a quick email, like, hey, you always supported me and made me feel like I matter. So, I mean, those things make a huge difference. Um, you also can create like little rituals where you share gratitude again, maybe putting it into your daily routine, waking up in the morning and as you're brushing your teeth, thinking about what are you grateful for today? Like, I'm grateful there's still toothpaste in the tube because, that's not a given. I'm grateful my water's running today. Like, things that maybe we take for granted. Those are just, again, some really easy ways that you can practice gratitude on a regular basis. And my hot tip that I will share that I absolutely do practice is again when I'm thinking about something positive that somebody's done for me, I just try to share it with them as soon as I'm thinking about it because maybe it doesn't make an impact on me, but it makes me feel better that I am able to share that. I don't want to wait till people die to give them their flowers. You know what I mean? I don't want to wait and say, oh, this person was a great person. I want them to know while they're alive that they're a great person and that they're making my life better. So if you ever get a compliment from me, just know I really mean it. Because if I don't have nothing nice to say, I won't say nothing at all. So if you heard nothing nice from me ever, try harder.
And just to piggyback off of what you were saying, I've seen this happen at least three different times um, in my work career, right?
Yeah.
So I ran or I was assistant director at a summer camp, right, for
Uh-huh.
kids, and we had a flip chart paper that were just you're caught in the act, so you do something well. Thank you for helping my camper with their peanut allergy or getting their EpiPen, or you were so nice to that person, or you helped that kid through the obstacle course and things like that. And it was one flip chart paper. By the end of 6 weeks, that flip chart paper had gone around a huge classroom twice,
Love that.
right? Where people were writing stuff in there about what they saw other people do in support. It grows. I took that and utilized that in my next management job. And I use it in our staff meetings at the beginning of staff meetings. I called staff shines, right? And just wanted to give 5 minutes for people to recognize other people for doing something. And the first couple meetings, it was kind of, weird and awkward. And I was giving out and wasn't getting a lot. And one of our senior people, she kind of took it upon herself to start recognizing other people. Well, within the next month, we had to cap staff shines at 10 minutes because otherwise it would have been the entire staff meetings,
Hmm.
right? And so where people were recognizing other people. And then the next job I took after that was at a bank. And one of the things that people wanted, these financial service folks who are used to bonuses and raises, they wanted a non-monetary recognition program. So we created one where they could write a thank you to somebody and connect one of our cultural values to it and then send it to them. And it also got sent to them and it was also CC'd to their manager.
Hmm.
And that caught on like wildfire, where it was unsolicited, right? At first, our manager was like, I want everyone to write one of these to somebody else. And we were like, well, what if we don't have anything that we want to write? Right. But then because it wasn't forced, people were sending stuff back and forth to each other. And it was such a powerful, um, you know, way of helping people recognize the effort that they're putting into other folks throughout the year. So it's not just one time a year where you're getting a bonus or you're getting a raise, right? You're being recognized on a regular basis for what you've done, even if it's your job. Say, well, it's
Yeah.
just my job. Well, okay, well, your job made a difference to me, so thank you so much, right? So what you're saying, that gratitude practice, think about what you are grateful for, but also if you're grateful for other people, like you said,
Tell
stop
them.
and say it to them. Yeah, but even if you don't tell them verbally, I mean, write it down, do something that it really does make a difference. It strengthens bonds. It is that oxytocin. It's the mental reach out and touch somebody, connections, right? And so it definitely is powerful. And so, with that, just thinking about, those things that you can do, there's some homework we have for you, right? And you know, see, I shouldn't call it homework, but because people they're kind of touchy about homework, right?
How
Right.
about this?
But
An assignment if you choose to accept it.
yeah. So what are you grateful for? Right? What are you grateful for in your job, in your family, health wise, life? And like you said, think about what it is you're grateful for on a daily basis, right? One of the things that I loved is I had a friend who used to ask their kids every night at the dinner table, so what did you learn today?
Hmm.
Right. And they were expected, that they were in the mind frame that they learned something new every day, right? That's that growth mindset that we always talk about. Did you learn something new
Right.
today? Right. And whom are you grateful for at home and at work? And think about those, right? And think about who are those people. And the next thing is, how often do they get told that you are grateful for them? Told or shown, right? And if they're shown, do they know that what you're showing them is a sign of appreciation, right? And you don't have to say it every time, hey, I'm showing you this because of my appreciation. No, you can just, hey, look, so, the way that I show appreciation is, I like doing stuff for people, or you might get a little note on your, whatever it is, so that when they get it, they know that's just from you, right? But if, and what it means so that people are able to recognize that. But, if we don't connect with each other in terms of what we do for each other, then we go it alone, we become isolated, we figure we're the only one who can handle it, no one else understands us. And then you see the world that we're in today.
Yeah.
So what's something that happened to you in a good way? Who is it that's helped you, right? What compliments did you get today? And did you say thank you? Right?
So if
That's all
you
I
are
got.
not feeling, I would say, if you're not feeling appreciated, if you're not feeling like anybody cares about you, then I will say you first. Go out there and appreciate others. Find what you're grateful for. Again, you can't control what people bring to your arena, but you absolutely can control that ripple of appreciation. And when you appreciate others, not only do they benefit, but you also benefit. And so be willing to take that first step, even if it feels weird and it feels awkward and maybe people don't take your compliments. Give them anyways. When you keep giving the gift, even if it remains unopened.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so juicy. That was
Ooh,
from Lorraine Fox. I didn't make that one up. That's why I
yeah.
love Lorraine Fox. Just
Yeah.
saying.
And as we wrap up, I just want to take a moment to let you know, Miss Tiffany Salcido, how much I appreciate you, and how much fun this is and how much fulfillment is brought to my life, to be able to do this. I think I mentioned to you, 2 years ago, hey, we should do a podcast. And I don't think either of us thought, how the hell are we going to do a podcast? And we just never really connected on it. And I'm so glad that we did earlier this year. And it really has brought nothing but benefits to my life. And I'm so grateful to have you in my life as a podcast partner. So,
I appreciate you too for doing all of the work.
oh, it's nothing.
Just so you all know, I'm just the personality hire here. Carl literally does all of the work behind the scenes and does all the posting and runs all the social medias and does all the stuff. I show up and record and he does everything else. So I appreciate you as well. And I try to tell you that all the time because I really do appreciate it. This is why the cooking show never went anywhere because there was too much work for me. So I really do appreciate because I enjoy this. I look forward to these as well, very much so. And we appreciate all of you that have listened to us and have supported us and have liked and followed and told people about us and have given us feedback. I can say, and I'm sure that Carl agrees that we appreciate all of you as well.
Absolutely. And we wouldn't have we there wouldn't be a need for us to do this if we didn't have folks that we thought maybe wanted to hear us pontificate about what we think is important. So,
That's right. That's right. But you know what?
yeah,
That's what podcasts are for, pontification,
yes. So,
a verbal
as the
blog, verbal
as the
blog.
as the pontiff in chief, no, actually, no, that's the guy in Rome. So let me
Yeah.
just say,
Yeah.
Dominus omnis. Oh. Happy
I don't know
Thanksgiving,
what the
everybody.
dance is to that one. Yes. Gobble, gobble.
Don't be a
Happy Turkey
turkey.
Day.
Yeah, don't be a
Yeah.
turkey.
Keep it real. Yeah.
All right, yeah, keep it
Keep
real
it real and keep it real grateful. Keep it real grateful. That's all.
and real gravy.
And always real gravy. Always.